Swastiastu. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Lodesi Danayanti. I'm an English teacher at SMKN 1 Kelungkung Bali. Here, I want to share my experience in joining the workshop of virtual learning environment for effective education organized by Thai Arts International and hosted by SRM Institute of Science and Technology. In my opinion, this workshop was a very good workshop, and I was happy to participate in it. During the 3 days of workshop, I have learned something new because the workshop discussed the topic that were closely related with my background as an English teacher, and they were presented by professional speakers too. To Dr. Albert, who discussed about online tools to enhance education. For me, this topic is closely related with today's situation, in which we as a teacher is required to teach our students anytime and anywhere by using technology. Teacher and students have to do online teaching and learning process, and the use of Google Classroom is the one that can make it possible. I have learned how to create a classroom, invite students and others to join my classroom, share information, the topics of the teaching and assignments, do the discussion, and then set the time to post the assignment or information. Although I have already used the Google Classroom in my teaching and learning process, but some additional information from Dr. Albert, like the use of Google Form for assessment, the use of auto tracker, and also about e-certificate. Next, talking about psychology and technology in education, I have learned that psychology and technology is closely related. If psychology is something that related to itself, the technology is something that is developed by inner self. So technology has changed the way how people interact in the world, and our mind is behind the technology. We can combine both of them in the teaching and learning process. Moreover, the information about psychodynamic and psychometric helped me in conducting the classroom better. Through psychodynamic, I have learned how to understand the problem of behavior, feelings and thoughts of my students, and try to find out the solution to help them with this problem. Through the psychometric, I can know about individual and group differences. These two things help me to create better teaching and learning environment in the classroom. And the last, to find out what my students have gained during the teaching and learning process, I can use assessment. The speaker has made it clear about what assessment is, how we can do the assessments, including the step and example of the assessment that we can use in the classroom. This information is very useful for me because as a teacher who teaches students with different background, different ability and characteristic, sometimes it is difficult for me to decide how to assess my students and which techniques I should use. Now let's continue with how I'm going to implement this in my teaching and learning process. Since I have already used a Google Classroom in my teaching and learning process, I will still continue to use it and combine with the knowledge that I have during the workshop. I will try to create the classroom situation which is more convenient for my students. Try to find out their problems and feelings toward their teaching and learning process, and find out the possible solution for them so they can join and follow the classroom better. To assess the performances of my students, I'm going to apply this step in containing the content domain and try to use various aid platform so I can have better and exact result about my students' performances. I think that's all that I can say. Thank you very much, and I hope I can join this kind of activity again in the future. Om Santi 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 Om.